Hey, welcome back to My Kitchen. So today, as you can see, I am making Jamaican patty. And guys, this was so tedious and it was one of the most difficult dish I ever done, but it was worth it. I am telling you it was worth it. So if you want to see more, stay tuned for the video.
In my kitchen, in my kitchen, welcome to Nessa kitchen. In my kitchen, in my kitchen, welcome to Nessa kitchen. In my kitchen, in my kitchen, welcome to Nessa kitchen. Nessa's world.
So first we're going to start off with the dough, which is the crust of the patty, and this is the most difficult part of making the patty. And these are the ingredients you will need. You will need 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of cold butter, 1 cup of ice cold water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, which you don't have to, this is very optional, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder. So now I'm just going to mix all of my dry ingredients together. And guys, this is the most important part. The butter have to be very cold. So what I did was to put it in the freezer before, so that it will be very cold, and that is like 1 cup of fat. So I'm just using, half cup of regular butter and half cup of shortening, and this will help with the flakiness of the dough. So this is another important step. Now in this part, you don't use your finger. Normally you would use your finger and knead the dough, but for this we don't use our fingers, we use the fork. And the reason for this is because your hands let off heat, and remember I told you that we don't want the butter to get melted. We want it to be very hard, very cold, because when the mixture or the dough goes into the oven, it perform that magical stuff and give it that flake, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to use the fork and press down onto the butter, and then combine all of that goodness into a dough. And guys, if you realize that if it's melting or whatever, what you can do is stop for a while and put it back into the fridge so that the butter can be hardened. But for now, just use the fork and get as much butter into the flour. And even if you're not getting all of the butter at once, that's perfectly fine, because we want the big chunks of butter. So now I'm just going to get the ice cold water and make that dough. And as you can see, I'm still using my fork because I don't want it to melt. This is the very important part, guys. So just remember to always, keep it cold. Keep the butter cold. We don't want it to melt. And as you can see now, I'm going in with my hands because the water is very cold, so the butter won't be melted easily. And guys, as you can see, I'm not kneading the butter. I'm gently patting it, bringing it together, because we don't want the butter to be rubbed out. We just want the pastry to combine together. So now I'm just going to get my flame wrap, and I'm going to wrap the pastry in the flame wrap, and then after that I'm just going to throw it in the fridge so it can stay there and keep cool. So here we're going to make our ground spices, which is onion, garlic, ginger, scotch bonnet pepper, scallion, sweet pepper and thyme. And guys, I'm going to just throw this all into the microwave because in the microwave, goes right into the blender because we want it to mince up, you know, small, because we don't want that big chunk in the patty. You understand? So we have to get it as small as possible. And you can use a food processor. I don't have one, so that's why I'm using my blender. Well, I do have one, but I can't find all the parts, so I'm using the blender. And it was a bit hard at first. What I did was to add a little bit water in it so that, you know, it can blend properly. I'm also going to go ahead and add my spices, which is all-purpose seasoning. I'm going to add some herbs like basil and oregano, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt, you know, just to add more flavor. And I'm also going to add some cayenne pepper for the spice, you know, additional spice. Yeah, because you know we Jamaican, we love our spice, right? Yeah. Guys, can you smell that? Oh my god. But this is somewhat like the same thing that we do with our jerk seasoning. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pour it into a bowl and I'm going to store that into the refrigerator because I don't need that right now, you know. So now we're just going to get onto our filling. And guys, I tell you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And this is my chicken breast. I had cut up it from last night, but I want to mince it up some more. So what I'm doing is going through with it with the knife, you know, again, because we don't want it to be too big for the patty. You know, what you can do is put it into a food processor, but I don't have one, as I told you before. And I'm going to go ahead and season it with some all-purpose seasoning, chicken seasoning, salt, black pepper, and turmeric, you know, to give it that curry turmeric flavor. You understand? So as you can see, I'm doing the same procedure with the shrimp and the lobster. I'm cutting them small into small portions so that they can fill the patty and not be bulky or too small. So now I'm just going to go ahead and season the shrimp and the lobster. I'm going to use some fish seasoning. I'm going to use some all-purpose seasoning, some oregano, some basil, and I'm also going to use some garlic powder because we want it to be garlicky. You know, we want a buttery garlic taste, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to put a lot of garlic powder. So now I'm just gonna get my saute pan and add some coconut oil to the pot. And then remember that paste that I did? Yeah, that paste that I did earlier. I'm just gonna get that now and put just about 2 tablespoons into the pot so that that can simmer for a while. Yes. And then now I'm just gonna add my chicken and let the chicken absorb all of that flavor. Like, guys, look at that. Like, look at that deliciousness. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more seasoning to it, a little bit more turmeric, and then I'm just gonna add some coconut milk to the mix. Like, look at that juice, guys. Just look at all of that. And I'm just gonna cover it for a while, add a little water, let it simmer for a while, and then move on to the next. So I'm just gonna put this one on the back fire so that I can focus on the seafood one. So now I'm just gonna add half stick of butter to the pot, and allow that to melt for a while. And then I'm going to go for that same paste, and I'm going to add just about like 2 tablespoons, to your taste, to the pot, and allow that to simmer for a while. I'm going to pour some coconut milk onto that, add some salt and a little bit of other spices just to bring up the flavor, and then I'm going to add my seafood to it. But guys, you don't want to smell this. Like, it smells so good you want to smack your mama, like literally.
Down to Blood's Barbecue, 15837 South Crenshaw Boulevard. That's right off Manchester. Blood's Barbecue tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama. Don't it, Willie?
Yeah, boy. Hey, mama.
What the hell you want with?
So this is the 2 filling that I will use for my patty. And guys, remember to always check on both of them. Just give them a stir because we don't want them to stuck to the pot, because there's not a lot of juice in it, because we don't want too much sauce or too much gravy, as you would call it. So continuously check it, stir it, ensure that you have just the right amount of texture to it, and taste it to ensure that the flavor is there. But look at that, guys. Look at that. Guys, you better like this video. I'm telling you, like, this is so technical. Like, this is one of the most technical video I've done. Now I'm going back for that dough. I'm going to cut it up into big chunks, and as you can see that the butter is still in there, and I'm going to go ahead and powder the countertop, press down the butter and all of that. And the technique to this guy is to fold it. While you roll it, you fold it at the same time, because you want it to create that flakiness in the pastry. And guys, sorry for my hands in the way, but I didn't notice until I was editing the video. But you can understand by, guys, you see, you fold it and then you roll, and you do this about like 5 times, because you want it to be very flaky. And remember to always allow it to be the flour to be on the pastry, because you don't want it to be stuck to the rolling pin. So we're going to make not so thin slices. We just want it to be thin and thick enough to hold that patty. So as you see, I fold it again because I am trying to get that flakiness, and you can see the butter in there and everything. But as I said, I'm sorry that my hand is in the way, but you get the drift. There you go. So guys, as you can see, I have accomplished my goal, and what I'm going to do now is going to cut off the edges, because I want it to be neat. I don't like it to be all rough and all that, So there you go. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue the process for the other pastries, and cut off the edges, as you can see. And some of them you'll get 2 out of it, and some of them you only get 1, depending on how much dough you use. And the edges, I reuse them, so don't think I throw them away. Nah, it is hard times, and we need everything that we can get right now. We cannot throw anything away. But guys, as you can see, look at all that butter. You see all those butter? That's what's going to give it the flakiness. And I rested it in the refrigerator for a while, and now I'm just gonna go and do my filling. Like, I'm almost done, guys. Hallelujah. This was so crazy, guys. It was so crazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the chicken like closer towards me. And the reason for this is because when you fold it over, you'll get that pocket that you need, and you get to press it down. And you don't need to use so much meat like I did, but I just want it to be juicy and, you know, packed with meat, unlike the other patty store that you will go and just get a little bit of meat. But you know, I'm doing this so I can determine how many meat I want in mine. So I'm just going to use my fingers and pat down the edges, and also go ahead with my knife and cut it off, because I tell you, I like it to be neat, very neat. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the fork and seal the patty and give it that that design that the patties normally have. Yeah, they normally use like a rolling thing, but I don't have that, so I have a fork, and that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, and I'm going to continue, and I'm also going to punch holes in the top so that, you know, the crust don't break. And I'm going to continue with the other fillings, and you'll see that I added cheese to the last one. You can use any cheese you want. I use mozzarella cheese, and continue the same process for the shrimp. So I got 3 chicken patties, the 1 chicken cheese, and now I'm just gonna do the shrimp and lobster patty. And I'm not gonna do it the normal way. I'm just gonna do it as a like a poach. Yeah. And look at that goldenness, guys. Look at that. As always, guys, you know I always have a mukbang for you, so check out the video for the mukbang so you can see my expression and whatever fun activity I have on the mukbang. But guys, look at that. Thank you guys for watching. You know, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed before, and you know, like, share, comment, you know, tell me what you think, or tell me what you want me to do next. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.